The first is that for the UN, there has been a shift that changes a great deal. Instead of a single dominant power, or during the Cold War period, two geostrategic rivals, there are now three geostrategic rivals. And that complicates many files and the management of many files. Second point, there's been quite a lot of focus on the US during this meeting. I'm a Canadian. By and large, Canadians have fantastic relations with the Americans, and we've been good neighbors to each other. But my observation would be that chaos breeds reactions, and those reactions create new realities. And so notions of US leadership are fraying amongst the followership. And this will have consequences if it continues indefinitely, because you can't lead without followers. On the UN, what the UN can do in the current situation without too much risk, and it can do it with skill, is address in the security sphere so-called orphan conflicts. Yemen. Other than the belligerents, who cares? Alas for Yemen. It's an important country. It's a country of wonderful people. Nobody cares. Here, the UN can be useful. Up to a point, it can be very useful in Myanmar, which we hope can improve in months ahead. And on many African conflicts, the three rivals have no difficulty reaching agreement as long as the UN or somebody else does the work, the African Union, the UN, some combination thereof. But it's very difficult on geostrategically sensitive issues for multilateral organizations, because I think the UN is simply a reflection of many others, to play the central role they once did. Fourth point, many of the multilateral organizations are focused on global development of emerging and mainly still developing countries. And the problem for them is that development is working. It's actually occurring in large parts of the world. And it hasn't been created by international organizations, this success at development. It has come from within in every case that we have seen. So there is a challenge for the multilateral system as we know it. In conclusion, the main outlines of the multilateral system as we know it are roughly 70 years old, a little bit older for some of its components. That's quite old, and it's at this point quite stressed. In spite of very good leadership here and there, it's quite stressed.